What's going on, people of the internet? Thanks for coming back. Hope you enjoy my last video. If you haven't seen the last video was of me installing the Saddlemen Road Sofa heated seat on this 21 Chieftain. Today, as you can see, it's not on. So today I am doing the install of some bars. I'm going with a MidRiser bar just to get my hands up a bit instead of down here. They're going to be up a little bit more shoulder level type thing. So that's what we're going to do today. I didn't do any research really before I did this video. I watched the KST bar install that they have on the YouTube. It was on a 2019 Roadmaster, I believe. Hopefully this is going to be pretty much identical for as far as an install goes. What you'll have to do is you'll have to pop off the side panel here and on here, and then you are going to be undoing the bolt right here. And then there will be another one on this side, and then a bolt back here if you have the stock seat. If you have an aftermarket seat, you may still have those bolts, you may not, but you will definitely have their rear bolt for sure. So have to remove that, lift up the back a bit, slide her off. The booklet that you get, if you get the Indian MidRisers like I did, it says to put your bike straight up and in a chalk. Well, if you put it in a tire chalk, you can't move it around if you need extra room. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put mine onto a jack just to take some pressure off the front so that I can move the handlebars back and forth easy. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna jack it up and then I'm gonna strap it down a bit. Okay, here we go. We're at the front here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pop off this bezel, and then I believe there's 3 bolts that hold the headlight assembly in. So basically take something that is not gonna ruin your paint. All you're gonna do is you're just gonna get in here and just pop it. Nothing too hard, nice and easy. So there's gonna be one in this lower corner, one in the upper corner, one in this upper corner, and then one down in this lower corner. As far as the size, that's fine. Get on the first try. I did. So that is 10 millimeter. So there's gonna be 4 10 millimeter bolts that need to be taken out. Okay, there is a harness that you have to disconnect here. It's got one of those weird pressure fits in. Okay, so on the Chieftain here for the 21s, there is a little pressure fit Christmas tree type thing. It fits in and then it slides right into here, so you can just wiggle it and slide it out and then your headlight will come off. We are supposed to have a harness on the left side, which we do. There's a white plug right here, right where I'm touching. This is what you have to disconnect that will connect to the handlebars. With the 21, you are gonna have to pull off this fender. I was hoping not to. I tried everything I could, but the fender has to come off. I was watching a video when I bought this Clockworks of how to install it. One of the tips was to put painter tape or something else behind that nut. I just figured I'd throw it out there, let you guys know about that, just in case you haven't heard of that tip before. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo the 5 bolts here, which is a 4 millimeter hex. And then there is 2 bolts right here, 2 bolts on the other side, 4 across. And then I believe there is 1 on the inside of the speaker grill on each side. So we'll start with the window first. Well, she was baked on pretty good. Still, again, the bottom 4 are 4 millimeter bolts. So we're gonna go ahead and do those as well right now. To note, the very bottom screw on your fairing is shorter than the other one. And it's got a bigger head on it. That's what she said. But as you can see, it's definitely shorter than what the other ones are. So to remove this, just pops out and slides out nice and easy, I guess. There's one more right here. So, and that one is longer. We're gonna do this speaker grill on the other side. Busted, woo! So all that's left is the one there, one there, one there, and one there. And then this fairing should be able to come straight off. Not looking forward to putting these ones back in. That was a pain in the butt. So there's a screw right here, a screw right here, a screw right here, a screw right here. I found that with the windshield all the way down, I can get the two outsides. Windshield had to go all the way up, and then I had to have where it rotates so that way you can get it down and like that to get in there to get them. This is the one that we are wanting. So there is a zip tie there, throttle side, clutch side. Yeah, so definitely there, it's gonna have to come out from right here. I think maybe start on the clutch side. Let me readjust the camera and let's go from there. Number 5 Torx. So the bolts are the same length, so you don't have to worry about up and down. Okay, so on the back side, looks like 2 screws back there. Torx T15, Torx T15. I've never worked on a bike in my life, so this is kind of cool. Okay, so there's the switch, part of it. And you can tell they're not tight, because I'm doing this by hand. So they were not very tight at all. Hopefully this is small enough to get in there. It was beautiful. So that's one side done. On this side here, there's gonna be a zip tie that you gotta cut off right up here. And then there's also a little bracket right there that you gotta take off as well. And that again is a Torx 5. And it's not on very tight. It's a T5. Now what everybody says is to make sure that you keep your master cylinder straight up so you don't cause any kind of air bubbles. Second screw. So I've got a couple zip ties. There. There we go. You need to pull this out far enough so that you can get the clip out here to disconnect this. There. From there, we should be able to pull all the wire out. Hope we don't screw anything up. Yeah. What the KTS video was saying to do the thick one first. So I got this out, the brake side, throttle side. What I had to do is, the nice thing about me having this jacked up a little bit is I got free play to move around. So I had to turn it to the side and reach just underneath the stash above the bars where the opening is and pull it that way to get through here so it wouldn't get stuck or tangled or anything like that, because you don't want to be yanking on these and then busting something. 2 bolts, but before I do that, gotta take off this piece to give you a little bit more room. So you're gonna need a T4 or a 4 hex and a number 6 hex for the back bolt. Got a little clamp there and a pin. There we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take off the 2 bolts. Is 19 mil for that bolt. Whew, that one was bad. So I've got 1 bolt out. So what's going to happen is I'll do the other one and then it will come out. So okay, so what I did is I had some 16 gauge speaker wire or power wire kicking around. What I did is I fed it through. It took a little bit and then I taped the end. So I'm hoping that this will go through just fine. Whoa, not bad for the first go around. Actually came through. That's bonus. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to undo the tape, put the wire through the other side, and do the same thing again. So I'm not going to record that because there's no point in boring you guys. Okay, so I have the wires ran through on both sides. So to the clutch side, plus I ran the wire through, hooked up the throttle, brought it back. Now it's keyed a certain way. There's a big key and then a small key, so you should be able to only get it in one way, and then that way you can do your turning here. 4 bolts, there's 2 here, 2 on the other side. You take them all off. You'll probably have to use a rubber mallet or to knock it apart after you do it, undo it all. The top ones you're going to tighten right down all the way, and the bottom ones you're going to leave loose so that you can adjust once it's on the bike. Okay, so what I did is I put the bar back in place, fed the wire through the front, and then I reinstalled the 2 bolts that goes up to the top. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the controls on, front brake back on, and the grip back on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in the wires first, and they can only go one way. So I've been told anyways. Again, there's a little keyhole here and your key right there, so you'll slide in there so you know it's in place. Okay, note to self, when you're installing this again, make sure you put the grips back into this clamshell before you put everything back together, otherwise this ain't gonna do squat for you. There you go. It does what it's supposed to do there. It snaps back. There's no issues. The heated wire I had to sort of fit up in behind it. I had it not correct the first time around, or second or third time. It's plastic, so you don't want to be screwing it in too hard. Just so I feel a little bit of tension, and then that's it. Oh, when you're doing it, make sure Indian's the right way. It's not upside down. Once it's screwed on, again, make sure there's no play, everything's good, snapping back, not sticking. Okay, so next up we're gonna get this mounted back onto the bar. What KTS did is they brought the cable around to the inside to give a little bit more room. And again, we're not gonna do these ones super tight either, so that you can adjust these afterwards when we have everything back together. Okay, so we're on to the clutch side here. Just an FYI, the grip actually has a little key marks in it that makes this clamshell sit tight in it, and of course there's another keyhole in there as well. So to get this sit tight, you need to make sure that those divots or keyholes are in the right spot for this clamshell to go tight. Okay, when you're putting this back together, you screw the housing together, or the switches together, and then you'll plug in your safety switch for your clutch. Okay, it took some finagling, but finally got it on. Had to get my son to help me out here. When you plug in the safety wire for the clutch, you get it in there where the clamps come together and they're going around the bar. It has to fit right in there just so you don't pinch the wires. If you don't have heated grips like I don't right now, there's a wire in there that you'll just tuck in behind. Same with for here, you just tuck it in behind and then just put the clamp together and make sure it doesn't pinch anything. So for right now, I have it kind of tight, but not super tight, because once I get the seat back on, I'll have to adjust to where I want it and then turn to make sure that it's not hitting the tank in any way. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is we are going to put this back all together, and then basically just take your time. And so the 2 screws are one like this and one like this. So this guy here will go in there. This is going at the front underneath the bars. This is tight, this is tight, and this is back on. You're probably gonna get a little bit more background noise today because it's cold outside today. So we're sitting, I think it was like -2 with the Celsius, and then with the wind, it was like -8 Celsius. So for you warmer weathered people, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's cold here. When I edit this video, I will put the torque specs for the 4 bolts that hold the handlebar into the handlebar clamp, and the specs for the 2 bolts that go into the handlebar clamp. And then snap that together till you hear a click. Okay, so one thing that you want to be aware of when you are putting your fairing back on is this rubber seal. Make sure it is actually in place. Remember, there's the short one and 2 longer ones, and it's the hex 4, number 4. Slide her up until you hear the click. So, I don't know if you'll be able to see in here or not, but there are screws. There's one hole right there you can see, and then there's another one. I'm gonna fight with these 4 screws, get them in. Once I can get them in, I'll bring you back and we'll put on the windshield and see Wow, that was a pain in the butt to do. Getting those 4 screws in there, I knew there was a reason why I didn't like it. A little tip for you. When you're putting those 4 in there, unless you have a magnetic tip, what I used is a little bit of white lithium grease that's all purpose. And I just put a very, very tiny little dab in the head of the nut, popped her in, and she kind of acted like a magnet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in this bottom one first, not very tight, just a little bit, just so that I can move it around. Wiggle it just a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm thinking about getting rid of this screen, and I'm thinking about getting a Freedom. And the other thing I like about the Freedom is that they do custom etching into the windows, so I might get the name of my channel etched into it too, and then so next is the headlights. Stick her in. That's what she said. The bikes are rocking, don't come a-knocking. You should be doing it in cross patterns, so top, bottom, top, bottom. The ring here, so you're just gonna slip it in the hole there. I said slip it in the hole. And then there's just 2 little clips that pop in, and that's it. And then these 2 little guys just hook in at the bottom here. When you have this off, you'll see exactly what I'm meaning by it. But bar install's done. Ignore the white zip ties. I ran out of black, so I gotta go to the store tomorrow to get some black ones. How would I rate the install? For me, as a beginner, never working on motorbikes, it was decently easy. There was a couple spots that I had to take these apart a couple of times to get the wires in properly on both sides, and that took me about 5 hours total. I would say you could bang it out in a couple beer. So maybe hour and a half. If you know what you're doing and you're really good with tools. Now, I like them, they're great. I went with black because I'm blacking out my bike. The only reason why I got the limited is because I could only get with the radar blue. Blue is my favorite color. All in all, I'm happy with these bars so far. Gonna need some ride time now. We're hoping to maybe go riding right away here. It's warming up finally. Thanks for watching this, guys. If you liked it, give a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll try to answer anything I can. Think about subscribing if you haven't. Comment and share if possible. I want to try to grow this channel as much as I can, because I know there's not a lot of Chieftain people out there that's doing videos. So anyways, thanks guys for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.